Jon Summers is the motoring historian. He was a company car thrashing technology sales rep that turned into a fairly inept sports bike rider. Hailing from California, he collects cars and bikes built with plenty of cheap and fast, and not much reliable. On his show, he gets together with various co hosts to talk about new and old cars, driving, motorbikes, motor racing, and motoring travel.
Good day, good morning, good afternoon. It is Jon Summers, the motoring historian. Today I'm going to review an event I went and spectated back in September of 2025. It's now December, called the Redwood Rally Drive. So you might not be familiar with what a drag and drive event is, and when I've explained it'll be obvious, but it's not immediately obvious to it. It's if you're European, the principle is similar to our kind of stage rallies, in that what we're saying is this is an event where you might start in one city, drive to a local drag strip, compete at the drag strip, and then the following day drive to another drag strip where the same thing takes place. Then the following day this happens again. So in the case of the event that I went to, this Redwood Rally, in the case of the Redwood Rally, I think it was 5 drag strips in 6 days. But they did a loop coming back to the original one. Anyway, I'll put a link in to the website so you can go there and have a look at it. But I guess if you haven't already got there, the parallel with rallying is that it is all very well to have a car which can go around the muddy rally stage really well, or in this case, get down the quarter mile, or even for some of the events, 1/8 of a mile. Get down that really well, but can it then drive a couple of 100 miles to the next event? Tow in all your equipment as well, right? You have to carry all of the equipment as well. So on the face of it, for those of you that aren't steeped in the world of motorsport, that might not seem a very big deal. But the more attenuated a racing car becomes, the less practical it becomes for everyday kind of stuff, and most dragsters are not street legal. These cars have to be street legal. We're not in Germany. It's not like they have to be TUV approved. And it is out west here, and there is a sort of wild westness. Remember, there's no MOT out west. If you're British, there's no annual vehicle inspection. So what that means is if you drive a car without turn signals, if in California, if they pull you over, they can ticket you for it not having indicators. So that would be what they call a fix-it ticket, where you have a certain amount of time to fix it and prove to a policeman that your vehicle now has indicators on it or whatever else it's lacking. But you're not going to have any issue for corrosion. You're not going to have any issue around, dragging a car out of the junkyard and putting a turbo LS motor under the hood, which appears to be what a lot of people did. And really, this was the takeaway for the event for me, was that really there were some awesome cars, just awesome builds in a really grassroots kind of way. And these vehicles are being used, right? So you're not at a show and there's not people, polishing them. No, these cars are being raced down the track and then driven 200 miles and then again and again and again. It has the feeling, if you've been to a vintage sports car club meeting in England or Wales or Scotland, it has that kind of grassroots. The people involved here are really passionate, skillful people, and it's really a pleasure to sort of piggyback on their event in the way that I did. I'm going to share one anecdote, and I should say I want to preface this by saying that the Oregonian is a breed apart. And I think if, as I've been on the West Coast 20 years now, the path west is called the Oregon Trail. He came to Oregon. And when we think of Oregon, we think of all of the trees, and this is pretty much what I saw. But driving around on these 6 drag strips or 5 drag strips or wherever it was, I only went to 3 or 4, but driving around Oregon in the way that I did before, I really got a sense of what the state looks like. But that rugged environment breeds a particularly rugged kind of individual, and that particular kind of rugged individual builds a particular kind of hot rod, it seems to me. And that was a pretty awesome thing to behold. Now, I have excuse of a beard. It's sort of halfway between stubble and a beard, but my beard did not pass muster in this world of big, bushy beards and LS swapped Fox Mustangs that still had their original interiors but had no hood and were getting down the drag strip in under 10 seconds. And then, you see the guy with his wife or girlfriend at the Taco Bell eating dinner with it parked up outside afterwards. I mean, that is what this event is all about. Now, you don't get that at the VSCC in quite the same way. So this is all of the mechanical skill and compromise that it takes to keep a rally car going, but in this amazing Wild West vista, and it's Camaros and Mustangs and the paint's bad and nobody cares. Oh, it is bloody awesome. And I just want to say at this point, these drag and drive events, they're generally credited as being invented by Dave Freiberger at Hot Rod magazine. And I have to say, I happen to love the guy. I know that not everybody does, but the reality is the bloke invented something, made up a concept, which really gives people a reason to build a certain really cool kind of car. And just sticking on the theme of these awesome Oregonian folk, on the last day at Medford Drag Strip, I parked up facing the track, and I was tired because I'd been on the road and I'd done a lot of driving before. I did like 1,700 miles in 4 days, including a couple of days where I was just at the drag strip. I mean, sure, it's in a tundra with heated seats and so on, but I'd walked all around. I'd got hot. I'd eaten the crap food. I was just sat in the truck, knackered, watching the cars roll down the strip on the last day. And I was looking to the right of me. There was a G-body, black one, that had an LS swap and pizza cutters and, mini tubbed and a parachute. And I'd watched them swap the transmission on one day at the side of the track on a portable lift. And I'd watched that same car go like 974 at like 141 miles an hour or something ridiculous, right? And I'm sat there and I watched the guy, big beard, check lumberjack shirt, pull his Silverado forward, get it hooked up onto 2-axle flatbed trailer, and he puts the ramps down, and then I'm looking at him out of the left hand side of the truck, and the Regal, I think it's a Buick Regal, but whatever, this little G-body with the turbo LS in it, I hear it fire up, and I look over and there's his lad sat in it, and this lad can't have been older than Ollie. And this lad puts it in reverse, and I watch him back it up around the back of the Tundra, and then I watch him line it up. I'm thinking to myself, his dad's going to hot pin now and drive it onto the back ramp. No, his dad is stood in the middle of the trailer backing him on. And I'm just like, wow. Firstly, the build on the car. Secondly, the fact that you've taught the kid to drive it. But thirdly, the fact that you're stood right in front of him. So if this kid unleashes this 9-second monster, it's just going to pin you against the trailer. But no, you trust and have schooled the kid well enough to be able to do that. So that was a little bit of the blast of the Wild West, and this is taking place against the vista of Medford Drag Strip, which is a downhill, and then the runoff is uphill, and it's just the Oregonian forest, and that's like, just like the Black Forest is just like endless trees as far as you can see. And it was all right in September when I was there, but my God, I would not want to be there in winter time. The other really standout image for me, there was a brownish, 68, 69 Chevelle body style, but I think it was that Canadian one, do they call it a Beaumont? Is that the name? I'm not really sure, but it has like a centre split in the grille, but it's basically a 68, 69 Chevelle. And one of the most memorable images for me was as the sun was going down and you're rolling across this like Oregonian endless forest kind of landscape because I had the cruise set about 65 or 70, and this Beaumont Chevelle affair in the centre line, headlights on, came on by, and it's a guy and his wife were doing it with their granddaughter, because I heard the grandmother and the granddaughter talking one time when the car did a pass. I'll include pictures of the car. The car was an awesome car, and that whole nature of doing the event, that you got like the picnic basket and the child seat on the back seat of this like LS swapped. I guess this Chevelle was doing, if I remember correctly, like 11s, that kind of time. So it had an interior in it. So other cars of note: ice blue LS swapped Nissan 240, like S14, not a drift car. Really, and that was one of the faster cars. I believe I saw that car do an 895. I'll include a couple of pictures in it. With all of this stuff, you see the car make the pass, and then you're like, wow, I really need to dig deeper. But because it's just like a dude and his mates, you feel guilty, like going up and standing close and leaning too close. And to be honest, the whole thing reminded me of, I went to Cadwell Park in England, which is a British club circuit, to watch some motorcycle racing, and it's plumbers using their works van, having taken all the plumbing equipment out and put the old TZ250 in. It had that same kind of feel. I compared it with the VSCC earlier. The paddock has that same kind of, have you seen that innovation? I've never seen anything like that before. I never thought that engine would fit. What on earth is it I'm even looking at? It has that kind of thing, but with, as I say, with this sort of Oregonian kind of bent to it. So yes, the LSS14 was a hell of a car. I'll include a link to this car, a Catfish era 2002 Camaro with a cowl induction hood and a whole shit ton of lacquer peel and drag wheels on it, and it just looked the business. You just look at the car and you're like, I want that car and I want to do this event. A really clean red Fox Mustang, got a photo of that car on the trailer. It had a proper interior in it. The G-body car had a proper interior in it. The car was black. It was burgundy, crushed velour interior. It just makes you smile. These are cheap cars, but my word, the ingenuity, the skill, the hours that's gone into it. And I tell you, when you're there in the paddock, you're not just looking at the racing cars. I only just took pictures of the racing cars, but the camping setup these guys have got. I tell you what as well, how many Cummins Rams were there? My word. So that was fun. In fact, when I was watching on the final day at Madras, I got talking to a guy who had been to the Coos Bay event and had told me that only a few cars made a pass because the diesel Chevelle, yes, that's right, diesel Chevelle, 69 Chevelle with a Cummins turbo diesel motor in it, that had basically dumped a load of oil. It had like blown an oil line and had dumped a load of oil, and the Coos Bay's guys just didn't have the resources to like clear up the track and dry it off in time so the Coos Bay day was lost. So I was no longer disappointed that I missed that day. Madras drag strip, it is worth going out of your way to go to that venue. Literally, there is beautiful clean air, like Montana, big sky, super nice little town. You come through the nice little town, outskirts of the town, nice facility, lots of space, no resources whatsoever. You have to like bring all your like food and water and all of that. But then you stood there and in the background there's a mountain. It's like a drag strip in the Alps. It is. It's like almost like, am I in Gran Turismo? And then you're like, no, because there's no way in Gran Turismo, people would be running the kind of beta cars that there are here with the kind of awesome engineering that there is to make them get down the drag strip in a decent time. I did get some video of the drag racing. I'm not really going to bother attaching that. The main thing is just the sheer violence of it. That's the thing, isn't it? And the fact that the burnout where they warm up the tyres, where they spin the tyres on purpose to warm them up, that's actually watching an old muscle car with a full interior and no roll cage, but like a 600 horsepower big block, get sideways in the box. That, oh my word, it's It's a spectacle. It is really a spectacle, just like sumo wrestling is a spectacle. This is a spectacle. So a lot of Chevelles and Novas, and I'll include pictures of them. There's one lovely little blue Nova that Chevelle rather, that I really should use as the thumbnail, but I'll probably use the G-body. Probably use the G-body and said, we'll see. I'll share both with the producer and we'll both be surprised by what shows up as the thumbnail. There was a square body, like a short bed, square body Chevy truck with 4 slick tyres on it. Now, when I showed my son the picture, he was like, that's the coolest thing. But disappointingly, I never really saw it hook up. So great idea, but didn't actually really see it translate. And the last image I'm just going to include in the old slideshow here is a truck that I saw for sale at the side of the road. I'll include the sign as well, because I dare say it's still there. So who knows, you can call it and buy the Ford Big Job. What a great name for a truck, the Ford Big Job. I'll attach pictures. Thank you, Drive Through.
This episode has been brought to you by Grand Touring Motorsports as part of our Motoring Podcast Network. For more episodes like this, tune in each week for more exciting and educational content from organizations like the Exotic Car Marketplace, the Motoring Historian, Break Fix, and many others. If you'd like to support Grand Touring Motorsports and the Motoring Podcast Network, sign up for one of our many sponsorship tiers at www.patreon.com/GT Motorsports. Please note that the content, opinions, and materials presented and expressed in this episode are those of its creator, and this episode has been published with their consent. If you have any inquiries about this program, please contact the creators of this episode via email or social media as mentioned in the episode.